Alright guys, so just a couple follow-up things for that washer that we just walked through the steps for. A breakdown of the steps, so the first thing to do is plug in your machine, make sure it's turned off from the drain setting and put on either the soft setting or the normal setting. I would probably fill it with 3/4 of the way up, about halfway up the lint trap with your water first, add your detergent, turn on the pulsing agitator to however long you're going to be washing your clothes for. And then I would add your clothes one piece at a time. That way you can tell when the clothes are starting to struggle, when they spin around with the agitator, then you know you're getting close and you should probably not add any more clothes. Alternatively, you can just add the clothes and then fill it with water, add detergent, and let it go. That works fine too. Once that's done, immediately start draining the tub, put it on the drain setting. While it's draining, take half of the load out, put it in the spin cycle, and start spinning while you're draining that tub, because that tub takes 3 to 5 minutes to drain even with the built-in pump. So you'll find that pretty much right when that tub empties, your spin cycle will be done. So take the clothes out of the spin cycle, put them off to the side, put the clothes in the washer in the spin cycle, start that back up, take the clothes that were just spun, put them in the washer, fill that with clean rinse water, and probably by the time the machine is filled with rinse water, the second spin cycle will be done. So then you'll take the other half of the clothes out of the spin cycle, throw them in the rinse, let those agitate for about 5 minutes. That's really all it needs for a rinse cycle. And then you're just going to spin it 2 more times. And then I just take my clothes out of the spin cycle. When they're done, they're pretty close, I'd say. On this particular machine, 80% dry. Other machines that spin at a higher RPM probably going to get closer to 90% dry, but definitely better than a standard washing machine's spin cycle for getting the clothes dry. So then I just hang them up on a clothes hanger and put them in my closet, and I normally do my laundry in the evening. I find by the morning they're dry. I'd expect it takes no more than 2 to 3 hours to completely dry all your clothes. So that's a breakdown of the steps. The next thing I wanted to talk about was just some different caveats, kind of troubleshooting, and I guess just some small issues that I have with the machine in general. The first is that the fill hose is just too small. I know a lot of people have been commenting that for a while. I'm really surprised the company hasn't made a very simple change that would make a lot of people happy. I'm going to end up going to Home Depot. I'm just going to measure what the diameter of that intake valve is, and I'll just buy 1 or 2 pieces of tubing, probably one that's larger diameter and one that's smaller diameter. And I'm just going to make my own tube, one that fits on my faucet and plugs into those, because it's a lot more convenient than having to fill up buckets. But you can also use buckets. The second thing is I found even with the pump, I still had to raise the machine up a decent amount of height to get proper drainage from the machine. So that was a little frustrating. I don't really have a good solid surface in my bathroom to set that machine on, and I live on the 3rd floor in my apartment, so as soon as I tried putting that machine up on something, it started vibrating. It was very loud, so just something to keep in mind of. And then the biggest thing that I have problems with is the lint trap. So I'm going to do a jump cut, and I'll show you that lint trap in a second. Okay, so here's the lint trap in the machine. Like I said, I did 3 loads of laundry. I didn't empty the lint trap between the cycles, but I did check it, and every time I checked it, it was empty. And so here's the biggest problem that I have. For those of you wondering how you take it out, you just push down and it kind of slides out. That's how you get the trap out. And then there's a little second door. There's 2 tabs over here on the sides, and you just kind of press with your fingers and that swings open. And as you can see, 3 loads of laundry, and that machine did not catch anything. So this lint trap is pretty much worthless. I don't know if there's supposed to be a mesh or something that we put on the inside, but I mean, here's pretty much why it doesn't work. Is there's these slots on the side that the lint's supposed to go into, but then it should be getting caught by something like a mesh or um, just some sort of grating system on the inside, like what your normal dryer would use. The problem is the grates on the other side, and there's your injection molding process. Definitely got some flash on those, and does not look as nice as this side. But pretty much all the lint, when the machine's agitating, it goes through these giant holes, and with nothing to stop it inside, it just comes right out the other side. So yeah, this lint trap is pretty much worthless. So I keep it in the machine, but it doesn't do anything to remove the lint. Now, small lint seems to just kind of drain out of the water, no problem. But I did notice some of my clothes, especially like dark clothes and dress shirts, because I did throw some t-shirts in with some socks in with some different fabric types. I did see a decent amount of lint on the clothing, so just something to be aware of. You may want to get one of those floating in-washer lint traps. Those may help, or just invent in a lint brush or an electric lint remover, and just be aware that you will have to do that with this particular machine, because that lint trap really is not any good whatsoever. Alright, so overall my thoughts and reviews on the Extreme Power twin tub washer with the built-in pump. Um, I think it does the job that it needs to. I'd say my rating is 4 out of 5 stars. And the reason for that is first off, the good things. It has a very large capacity. I was very impressed that I could actually put two, large men's jeans in that washer, two of them at the same time, and the pulsing agitator worked just fine. If I had 4 or 5 pairs of jeans that I wanted to wash, I would take the machine, fill it with the water, put the detergent in, put two jeans in, let those jeans agitate, and when they're done, I would just stick those two jeans over in the spin cycle, and without draining the water or the detergent, I would go ahead and wash 2 more pairs of jeans in that washer before emptying the wash liquid, the dirty water, basically, because there's way more water than the jeans that are in there. But if you put anything more than the two jeans in, then the agitator starts to have problems. So again, I was impressed because most of these twin tub machines do not play well with towels and jeans. This particular machine, to do two jeans at the same time, is great for the price. I do like that it has the built-in pump. I would not be dependent on it. I would like to see a stronger pump on this piece of equipment, but the fact that it has a built-in pump is a lot better than gravity draining. I found I could put the machine down on the ground and I could drain all of the water from the wash side if I turned the pump on. But when I went ahead and I ran the spin cycle, I found that the built-in water pump really doesn't do anything for the spin cycle. The spin cycle drain is almost completely gravity fed. So I found that if I wanted to use the spinner on this particular machine, that I had to lift the machine up and elevate it above where my drainage point is. So again, I'd say probably a half a star off for that, because you have a built-in pump, but you limit the functionality to only draining the washer side. So that kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. And then the other half star comes from a combination of the lint trap, which really doesn't do anything in that machine whatsoever. They might as well not even have it in there, as far as I'm concerned, because I didn't see it catch even small pieces of lint, even big pieces of lint that would have fit through one side of that grate and not the other. It didn't even catch those. So, they could probably remove that from the machine and not lose any performance functionality whatsoever. And then just that fill hose is extremely frustrating, that the hose is only about 2.5, maybe 3 feet long. It doesn't attach to almost any standard fixture. That adapter is way too small. Like I said, you can use like a turkey baster, put the narrow end in the where this tube is supposed to attach to the faucet, and just cut an X in the bulb part of a turkey baster and use that to stick in your faucet. That works pretty well, unless you're trying to pump uphill, in which case that's not going to work. And I would just do what I plan on doing, which is going to Home Depot or any other hardware store, not a sponsor, and just buying a larger diameter tubing and a smaller diameter tubing and making one that properly fits on the machine diameter and your faucet diameter. So overall, like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. The machine works great, about an 8.5 pound capacity, and I don't know what the volume is, but I only ever filled it 3/4 of the way because you fill it higher than that, and what little lint that lint trap may catch, it isn't going to work if the water level is above that. But overall, 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was well worth the purchase. I plan on using it in the future. Um, and one final note is the spinner is sort of low on the RPMs. I would have liked to see a higher RPM on the spin cycle. Like I said, it got about 80% dry on the close. I've heard other spinners that get closer to 90%. I've seen people run calculations with the dry weight of the close, the wet weight of the close. They collect all of the drain water and weigh that and then figure out a percentage. And I've seen some twin tub spinners like the Panda or others that can get closer to 90% of the water out. So this spinner still does better than a standard washer spin cycle, but would have been nice if it was spun a little bit faster, maybe got a little bit more water out. But overall, for the price, definitely worth the purchase in my opinion. So that's my review. Take it or leave it. And have a great day. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos related to this product. Have a great day.